not a public speaker by any means, so please bear with me if I fumble over my words. But thank you, Nancy, thank you, Dorianne, and all the folks at the Brockton Writers Series. My name is Shyan, and I use she, her pronouns. I joined CUNY back in 2022 as a volunteer grant writer. I've since then grown into a project coordinator, supporting all the fundraising and operational needs. And I'm excited to talk to you all today about the Queer Toronto Literary Magazine and finding your niche in independent publishing. Whether you're a writer, an artist, creative of any kind, I hope that my presentation today will show you the strategic benefits of engaging with smaller thematic and community publications like CUNY. No worries. Nope, it's all good. I will keep going, and as soon as the slides pop up behind me, you will. So when entering into the publishing world, large mainstream media can often feel overwhelming, a little bit like me right now, and often impersonal. But where small or thematic publications like CUNY come in, they are more accessible, community-driven, and most importantly, willing to take risks on emerging voices. Next slide, please. So behind me, you will see an array of all of the issues that CUNY has put together since 2020 up to date, with our latest one being the Dyke 2 Shoot Back issue. So just a little background about CUNY. The Queer Toronto Literary Magazine is a nonprofit dedicated to elevating and celebrating queer voices across Canada. CUNY was founded by our executive director and chief editor, Pax Santos, back in 2020. Pax started CUNY as a response to the criminal shortage of Canadian queer literature in magazines. And there are so many amazing queer artists out there, and in times of crisis, especially during COVID, it was more important than ever to maintain community and connection. So CUNY celebrates queer art that individuals make for themselves and for each other. We accept poetry, fiction, creative nonfiction, book reviews, personal essays, reflections, memoirs, as well as artwork, drawings, comics, photographs, collages, and other visual media that come to mind. Since 2020, we've grown into a vibrant community, as you can see, publishing 17 thoughtful, bold issues with themes discussing mental health, sex work, COVID-19, and other various political topics, all while staying true to our roots of bringing together collective projects to create a sense of shared space. Not only have we published 17 issues, but we have successfully hosted several performance-based events showcasing trans and non-binary artistry, as well as had a presence at Toronto Pride last year, where we were one of the only few literary vendors. Next slide, and I might take a sip of my water. Okay, we'll get into it. So why choose a smaller publication? Well, to start off, you get a more personalized engagement. Each issue of CUNY is started through a group ideation session where our volunteers come together to dream up our theme for that issue. From there, we put together our call, and that's where we leave it up to our readers and our artists to interpret it as they see fit. And there's less competition, which means a higher chance of your work being published. So typically each issue receives between 20 to 25 submissions, and we, depending on the size of the issue, publish between 12 and 15 of those submissions. Yeah. But that doesn't mean that the leftovers are rejected. We typically like to work with our artists, so we'll offer them a spot in our rolling gallery, or if we see that it would be fit better in an upcoming issue, we'll also discuss those opportunities as well. So we really try to find a home for all the art that comes our way. And you get the opportunity to experiment and grow. We encourage all of our artists to be open and free using our prompt as they see fit. And perhaps most importantly, and one that's near to me, is you're not just a number. We remember your name and try to build a personal connection with each artist that comes to CUNY. Most recently, we hosted the launch of our Dyke 2 Shoot Back event, where we received feedback from several attendees and first-time artists who were published in that issue, where they had said that they felt welcomed and a sense of community with CUDI. Next slide, please. So from a strategic standpoint, and this is where I like to come in CUDI with my project management skills, this is an ideal first step on one's publishing journey. So small presses don't have to adhere to industry standards, quote unquote, or mainstream media, allowing for emerging artists to be picky and find the right fit for them. We also like to help you grow your portfolio and gain confidence. At CUDI, we put out a call tri-annually, if not quarterly, allowing our readers and artists a minimum of 4 opportunities to create work and build their portfolio. And we try to help build relationships with the editors and fellow creatives. The CUDI community is filled with fellow creatives and local community businesses, creating a network to connect artists with other opportunities to do what they love. And we also want to help start building that niche audience. So at CUDI, we specifically like to highlight queer voices in Toronto and those in the arts industry. But if that's not you, that's totally okay. There are plenty of other small presses or zines across Toronto that discuss topics like politics, humor, fiction, food, just to name a few. And a great way to actually find your niche audience if you're not that sure of it is the Toronto Zine Library. They have over 1,000 zines spanning 100 genres to choose from. So I definitely encourage you all to check them out if you have a chance. Next slide, please. So what does CUDI specifically have to offer? Well, we're open to first-time authors and artists. We don't discriminate based on experience or education. And we love recurring contributors. So think of us as your creative home. We want as much of you as you will allow us. And we offer constructive editorial feedback, not just rejections. Our editors work alongside our artists to provide feedback that feels right to them to enhance their work. You also have the freedom to experiment. We want our artists to be as bold and brave with their submissions as they want to, and feel free to submit their voices and their work with no filters. And at CUDI, you're going to find a passionate and engaged audience. We have a built-in network of fellow creatives within the community, and we strive to work with businesses that are a part of the 2S LGBTQIA+ community, connecting artists with other businesses and organizations that align with their work. For example, $3 Bill in the East End, Glad Day, where we are today, or Black Sheep in Liberty Village. Next slide, please. So our editorial ethos at CUDI is built around inclusion and support. We welcome open interpretations of all of our themes. As I mentioned earlier, we want all of our calls to feel like a prompt that speaks to the artist, allowing them to interpret it as they see fit. There's essentially no right or wrong way to answer a call or submit your work. If you read something that you feel resonates with you, we want to hear your voice. And we rarely censor any of the art or content that comes our way unless it is clearly harmful to our readers and our audience. Our editors are always here to help and not gatekeep. We are here for the artists and the readers. We want to help them enhance their work and their voices and hone in on their skills. And most importantly, our community is supportive and celebratory. The success of CUDI is the success of our artists, and it would not be possible without our volunteers and our supporters standing by us to help us continue to create such amazing issues one after the other. Next slide, please. So why smaller can mean deeper? You get a higher audience interaction. At CUDI, we have over 2,000 Instagram followers, over 400 newsletter subscribers, and we typically have over 100 attendees to all of our events. And we want to protect the creative and political freedom of our artists. Last year, for our Pride issue, we called on our readers to say something, telling us why Pride is still a protest, especially in today's political climate. And we offer a home for radical or activist voices that might not be welcome in mainstream media presses, as well as offer a sense of intimacy and authenticity that is rare in mainstream media outlets. We want each of our submissions to feel uniquely their own, providing a glimpse into the mind of the artist. Thank you. Next slide. So if you would like to get involved with CUDI in any capacity, please follow us on Instagram or visit our website, cudimag.ca, where all of our issues are available for free, no paywalls. We really important to us to make all of our issues accessible to all of our readers and our audience. If you'd also like, I do have a couple of our issues here tonight if you want to browse through them and take a look to see in your hands what CUDI has to offer. But thank you all. Thank you to the folks at the Brockton Writers Group and Glad Day for having us here tonight. And yeah, questions?
We've got okay, we've got questions. I can hold it like this. I have a question to start off. So you said you give editorial feedback. Is that like even for your rejections?
Yep. So even with our rejections, our editing team, which includes our chief editor Pat and some other more proficient in the literary sphere volunteers, we'll reach out to all of the artists that submit an issue, and whether it's an acceptance or a rejection, we offer a session to discuss that submission if the artist is looking to submit it somewhere else or keep it at CUDI as its home.
That is extremely rare.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sorry. And I know you mentioned if people, they might not fit into QT, but they might have other kind of niche things, and that they can find them at the zine library. Do you have any examples? Like you said, food. Like is there like a food publication?
Yeah, there is actually a food zine. There's a few of them. One that comes off the top of my mind is a recipe one, where every single month different artists submit a recipe and it's published in a zine.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah. And you pay, right?
We pay our artists. Yes, we definitely pay our artists. So each submission that gets accepted for each issue gets an honorarium of $50. And for our performance-based events, we pay each of our artists $250.
Wow. Okay. Some of the zines probably don't.
I cannot speak on behalf of the other zines. So we do try to be as equitable as possible.
Yeah. Just thinking out loud here, questions from the audience? Yeah.
Well, I just love learning more about QD, and I love that y'all pay your artists as well as keep them publications free. So I'm just curious, who funds them?
No, not me personally. But as I mentioned earlier, as the project coordinator, I do all of the fundraising efforts as well as the operational admin side of things. So when I joined QD back in 2022, the first ever grant that I applied for was the Rainbow Grant, which was funded by Community One, which is a great organization for small businesses, especially small queer artists that are looking to fund small projects. It was from there that I, kind of snowballed and started applying to more grants. And more recently, last year, we actually was granted the wage capacity building grant. So it was through that we were able to enhance our organizational capacity and apply to further grants to raise money to pay our artists.
Woo!
The most recent one was the wage, so women and gender equality. Yes, I do not know though that they have another one coming out with the recent cabinet shuffle, so you might want to check the website in a couple of months. Yeah.
Questions for Daddy? Okay, Shyan, I think you can.
Thank you very much.